Okay, now it's time to start the metal part. And for the metal part, we have separate section. Okay, so let's create subfolder for this. Okay, and so the first one is screw that we are going to cover the material for these parts. Okay, the second one is barrel. Okay, so the third one is body. The fourth is steel. Okay, and the last one, oh, we could remove that for now, and let's start creating mask for this section. Okay, so I'm going to select this one. Okay, this one, this section, this one, this, and this. Okay, and we should remove this section. Okay, this is for steel, and we are going to use steel scratch for this part. Okay, like this, and we are done. I just need to remove this sharpen, and let's change the roughness value to something like this. Okay, it's done. Okay, let's remove this part from the plastic. So I don't want to have plastic in here. Okay, so this is the metal, and for the steel we are done. It's very good, and we should move to the other part. So for the screw we need to add black mask, and let's add paint, and let's start select all the part that we want to be in this layer and mask. Okay, now I'm going to use another smart material for a screw because it's too small, and we can use a smart material to speed up the process. Let's go for the iron forge. Okay, and put it in a screw folder. I think it's good, actually. Let's go to the folder. I have the base. I can increase the roughness. Okay, and yeah, maybe deleting this sharpen layer can help us to improve the quality. Okay, let's turn off all the layers. This is the fill. Okay, so we can come here, increase the tile to something like, for example, 10. Okay, like this, we can increase or decrease the balance. And we have a stain. Okay, we can increase the tiling. Why we increase tiling here right now? The reason is we have a small surface and we need the details show up in the, this is small surface. So we need to increase tiling to have more chance to have details on this part. So let's add dirt. Okay, for the dirt, let me use the dirt actually because it's better. And yeah, we have this one. Okay, let's go here. I use this icon to isolate parts. Okay, I forgot about putting this one to the mask. That's okay. And let's go back here. Dirt, surface detail. Okay, we have surface detail, and I think we need to increase that. Okay. And this is for the edge. We can change the wear level, yeah, to have better version. Okay, and let's go back here to increase roughness and decrease the metallic, or even we can decrease the color like this. So we have this one. Okay, and let me change this roughness too. Okay, it's perfect. Okay, we can go to the next one, and the next one is the body part. Okay, so let's go for the body, and before that we need to define the mask for parallel. Okay, and for this one we can go here, add paint, and select all this part. Okay, remove this section. That's okay. And we need to have a screw on top, barrel on top, and we have body. Okay, so let's go for the body, and I want to work on the body at first, and after that we can go for the barrel and tweak the final settings and go to the decals and end of the process. So let's go for the body. The first thing that I'm going to use is a smart material, and let's search about SnipeGun, and we have SnipeGun painted, so we can use that in the body folder. Okay, so let's add black mask, and I want to define a mask for this smart material because we don't want to use that as a base material for body. So let's remove this base and let's add paint layer. In here I'm going to select this one, select this one. Okay, and let's select this and maybe this one. Yeah. Okay, so let's select this one too. That's okay. And we are going to modify this SnipeGun paint. Okay, we have two layer base material. It's okay. It's a very good material that we have. And we can use this for this section too. So the first thing is we can increase tiling, right? We add a fill layer, and it's like there are 3 on the roughness, and we can increase this too. We can change the histogram position here, or even we can go to the roughness channel and play with the opacity that we have here. The second one is again on the roughness, moisture noise. It's a very good map. Okay, we can play with the histogram and pattern size like this, and that's it. So for the second layer we have a scratch, right? For the scratch, we have height. Okay, but it's too much. We can change it here with height range. Okay, like this. And everything is fine for this scratch except the mask itself. Okay, we don't need to sharpen. Let's change the parameter in metal edge wear. So let's increase the grunge amount. So we have some variation here. That's good. And let's add a paint layer. Okay, and let's add another fill layer. I'm going to create a fill layer with the grunge, and after that we are going to control that with paint layer. So we did that before, but in here let's search about the grunge. I use this one. Okay, maybe this. Okay, let me increase styling to something like 5. Or yeah, this one is better. Let's increase it to 8, 10. Play with the offset. Okay. So let's go back here. I'm going to multiply this to this paint, and let's add this metal edge on top and change the blending mode to linear. Okay, go to this paint, use brush, and let's paint here. So, for example, I just want to add some details here. Okay, this is without the grunge map. Okay. I think it's good by itself, like this, and we can add this grunge to this mask with linear dodge, for example. But we need to decrease the tile to something like 4 and decrease the balance and contrast together. So we have this effect, and we can add another fill layer, use direction, rotate this 90 degrees. Okay, and play with the balance again. And let's put it in here. I'm going to add filter and use slope blur. Okay, let's decrease the intensity. We can change intensity divider to 10. So we have this kind of effect here. We can increase source styling. And now we can decrease the intensity again. Okay, we had paint. We can decrease the opacity here. We have this grunge. We have this metal edge. And boom. Yeah, it's perfect. So this is for the steel gun, and we are going to add more detail on this. Let's add an anchor point here because we want to use it in the next layer. Okay, now let's go for the base material. Okay, so this is the base, and we have this color. Okay. This one. Yeah, I think it's good. And the roughness should be like 0.4. And we have a little metallic. You know, it's not logical to have something like 0.2 in the metallic, because there is two kind of object, metallic and non-metallic. Okay, so for the metallic, we need to set metallic value to 1. And for non-metallic, we need to set the metallic value to 0. But in here, I try to give some metallic attribute to the surface, but it's not like a metallic surface. It's like a paint on the metal surface. Okay, so just a little metallic, not too much. And we just have this. Okay, now let's add a black mask. Let's add a fill layer. I'm going to load SnipeGun paint mask here, inverted. Okay, so we have this arrangement, and I'm going to add a paint, and let's go to UV chunk fill and select this one and this one. Go to the mask. Okay, and remove this area. Okay, like we did it before on the plastic, but I don't like to have plastic surface in here. It's like a metal surface, not plastic. So this is what we have for a starting point in base material for the body. And now let's create the other sections. So before going further, I'm going to add a fill layer. In this fill layer, I'm going to keep color on, just only the color. Let's go and load gradient. Okay, and two color, it's good. Let's change it to triplanar. Okay, and we have color number 1, color number 2. The color number 1 is something like white, and the color number 2 is something like black. We can do this, or we can add generator, 3D linear, just in color. Okay, that's it. And we can go to the position, mesh maps. Okay, this is the position, and this is the start point, so I pick the color, and this is the end point, so I pick the color. So the gradient is like this, and we can control it, or we can invert it. Okay, so let's change the blending mode to soft light. Okay, so let's change the blending mode of the layer to pass through. And why it's not changing? Oh, because we are in the roughness set, not base color. So let's go to the base color, change the blending mode to soft light, and boom, we have this. Okay, let's invert it. Okay, that's good. And we can control opacity here, like this one. And let's play with the balance. Okay, let's change it to, for example, overlay, or maybe the soft light is okay because we are going to change this part anyway. So we have this gradient here, and I'm happy with the result. Okay, that's fine. So let's go for the other sections. So the next layer is adding some pattern here. And let's create fill layer, remove this one from the base, and I'm going to call it safety grid. Okay, and let's add black mask, add fill, or we can add paint. Okay, and choose this part, this section. Okay, and I'm going to choose this one too. Okay, and let's add a fill layer, like for example a strip, or no, we can use gradient actually. Okay, let's use gradient, and now I'm going to use it in multiply mode. Let's increase tiling, so let's rotate it 90 degree. I'm going to increase tiling like this. Okay, you can play with the balance, contrast, and etc. Okay, yes. Okay, so we have this one. I think it's very nice. Okay, and let's go here, use warp, and let's choose small intensity. Okay, like this. Maybe 3, yes, and boom, nice. Okay, and because we use paint and UV chunk, when we select something, we have some anti-aliasing problem on the edges. So how we can solve it? It's so fast and easy. The solution, I mean, just add paint, change the blending mode to subtract, go to the 2D, find your UV island, go to the asset library, use basic soft, go to the paint, and in here choose alignment on UV, size, space, and texture, and you can draw some small line here like this, and you have this nice and smooth transition. Okay, so let's go back for other parts. Okay, choose paint, and like this. Okay. Okay, that's it. And now I have clean transition on the edge without any anti-aliasing effect. So that's good. And let's go for the next part. And for the next part, I'm going to use some grunges that I created before. Okay, you can create this kind of map inside Substance Designer or even in Photoshop. And I'm going to use them for giving some nice feeling on the metal. Okay, import them as a texture. You access to them and you can use it. Okay, so let's go for the next fill layer. I'm going to call it overlay color and roughness number 1. And let's add the texture that we import, the purling noise, to base color and roughness. Okay, so we have this kind of effect, and I'm going to change the blending mode to something like overlay, and let's decrease the opacity to 10. Okay, and for the roughness we should keep it on normal and change the opacity to 10 again. So we have them. Okay, we can increase styling. For example, 2 is enough. And I'm going to add filter like warp. Okay, and duplicate it. Change the intensity. Okay, so let's bring up the opacity and see what's happening here. So this is the first warp and this is the second warp. Okay, and I can go here and increase tiling source. So we have this noisy texture. And let's bring back the opacity to 10. And that's it. We can add another filter like blur at the end to make it more softer. Okay, so let's add another overlay to next layer. Overlay color and roughness number 2, and again I'm going to keep color and roughness and just put grunge to base color and roughness like this. Okay, and we can increase tiling to 3, for example, and let's go to roughness. We decrease the opacity to something like 12, for example. Change the blending mode to overlay, and let's go back to the base color and change the blending mode here to overlay again, and change the opacity to something like, for example, 30. Okay, but this time I'm going to use black mask, and in this black mask I'm going to use generator and curvature. So we can just only see this effect on the curvature area. Okay, so like this. Okay, so for the next layer I'm going to use flakes, and for this layer I just need normal. Okay, and in this window let's type flakes, and we have this. Okay, so let's increase tiling to something like 50, for example, and I'm going to decrease the opacity of normal to something like 50. So I have this. I can add a filter like warp. Okay, so Let's increase source tiling. That's okay. And let's decrease the opacity again to, for example, 15. And I need to add a black mask here, add a fill layer to repetition pattern on the surface. So let's search about dirt. And I'm going to use something like dirt muddy. Okay. It's okay. Let's put it on 4. Play with the contrast and balance. And that's it. If we turn it on, yep, we have this effect. It's okay, I think. So I'm going to add another fill layer here and call it dirt, or we can call it grease for now. The color is black, almost black, and there is a little positive high like this. And for the roughness, go for 0.2, and that's it, right? So let's add black mask, and I'm going to use ambient occlusion. Okay, so this is for ambient occlusion result that we have. Okay, but we need invert version, and let's decrease the global balance, increase the contrast. Okay, why we use the invert version? Because for the grease or any kind of other dirt, we need this area, not the surface. Okay, so let's add a fill layer, and I'm going to use grunge dirt muddy because it's a good map. Let's change it to multiply and increase tiling to something like 5. Okay, that's great. Maybe 8 is better. Let's play with the contrast and balance. That's it. Let's decrease the amount of the opacity. Okay, so let's add a level. And yeah, we can play with a slider to have better mask here. So add anchor point because we are going to use that. So okay, this is the first layer, and the next layer is base dust. Okay, let's add black mask for this dust, and we are going to subtract the grease from the dust, and let's add fill layer. Okay, I'm looking for shading. That's fine. Let's increase tiling to something like 20. Yeah, it's perfect. And let's add something like warp as a filter to create unique result like this one. And I'm going to load again this grease mask. Okay, and put the blending mode to subtract. So we don't have the ambient occlusion area on the base dust. That's it. And okay, let's add another fill layer like grunge number 9, or we can use number 8 or 7. All of them good for this kind of purpose. Okay, let's subtract it from what we have here, and boom. Okay, we can increase tiling to 6, for example. That's it. And let's go to the color and to the layer itself. So let's tweak the parameter for the layer. The parameter is so easy. We have high amount roughness and some, light brown data like this. Okay, and we can decrease the color opacity. Okay, and let's go for extra dust. Okay, and I'm going to add black mask. For this one, I need color and roughness around 8, and the color should be like this one. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the fill layer in the mask, and I'm going to use some grunge related to dust. For example, this one is gray, this one is gray, and maybe this one. Okay, let's increase styling to 10, for example. 20 is so big. Okay, and let's add another fill layer. I'm going to use shaving again, but this time 5 is enough. Contrast and balance, and let's go for the warp. Let's change the blending mode to linear dodge. Okay, and let's decrease the balance. Okay, and this is the base. This is the shaving. It's too strong. Okay, maybe changing in opacity. Yeah, like this, and the warp. So this is the extra dust, base dust, and grease. That's great. And let's go for the other part. And the next one is edge highlight. So we need color, roughness, and metallic again. And we set 0.45 for roughness. And we are going to set 0.9 for metallic. So let's add black mask. And let's add generator. Okay, and let's use curvature. Okay, we have the edge like this. Okay, so let's add fill layer. Is this one, for example, and let's change the blending mode to subtract. Play with the balance, contrast, and now we have some good variation on the edge. And let's change the blending mode to something like divide. Okay, and that's it. We have this. Okay, so I think that's enough for this section. We create the base material for the body, and we need to continue on the next part.